Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of Multiplayer, the podcast by gamers for gamers. I am your host, Zach Matscandis, alongside the lover boy himself, Javier Ortiz.
What's up, boy?
Yo, 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 what up?
Man, I just saw Little Shop of Horrors for the first time.
Oh, snap.
And it's really good. Even though you may not think so, it's really good.
Yeah, some of the music is good.
A lot of it's good.
A lot of it's good. A lot of it. I like the big plant.
He's funny.
Yeah, I've always thought it'd be fun to film like a cheesy kind of B movie, like a B horror movie with like a big plant type monster.
Yeah.
Like what's that Little Shop? Have some thoughts. I got them written down. I won't say them on the show. Nobody steal my ideas. Remember, everybody, that Multiplayer is all over the place, in your ears and in your face. You can check us out at youtube.com/multiplayer, where you could see me in a tank top today because it is quite hot here in Los Angeles, California.
Pretty warm.
It is pretty darn warm, and I have to keep the fan off while we're recording. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear, like, so I leave that off, but then it's real darn warm. So I'm rocking the tank top. I was sweating to death last week. I was like, oh my God, I'm dying.
Yeah.
It was real bad.
I think we just found out that last month was the hottest month in recorded history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is not good. I think that topic's for another type of show, but it's definitely something to worry about.
Yeah, climate change. What?
It's real, people.
It's bad.
It's real bad. But I don't like talking about bad things on the show. I like to talk about good, fun things.
Like
but
how
also,
we have new episodes every Wednesday. Yeah.
Oh snap!
Yeah.
I tell you every week to remind me. Say. Yep. Thank you. Yeah. So new episodes every Wednesday is when this show goes up. And of course you can find us over on podcast services of your choice. Pick a podcast service. I don't care what it is. Just look for Multiplayer. Don't forget the ED on the end. And for some reason, I don't know why I have, we talked about this offline a little bit with Google Play or Google Podcast or whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
For some reason, it just delayed by like a day last week as far as
really
posting.
weird.
Yeah, I don't know why it did that. It posted on every other podcast service on Wednesday. So if you're a Google Podcast listener and, if Wednesday comes around and you're like, Multiplayer's not here, maybe get good. Check out like Spotify, Stitcher, one of those. I don't know why it delayed by a day. It was kind of strange.
Yeah, really weird. I saw it on Spotify, but then I checked Google Podcasts. It wasn't there. I was like, that's weird.
Yeah. So I don't have a good answer for why I did that. It's probably just something weird on Google's side, but we'll see if it happens this week. If you're listening to this Thursday and you're like, you didn't post this on Wednesday, it's like, we did. I swear. And of course, we're over on Instagram at Go Multiplayer, and of course, if you like what we do, like, subscribe on everything, and also check us out over at Patreon at patreon.com/multiplayer, where you can help us out each and every month by throwing us a little buck or two. Kind of helps keep the lights on and keep the show moving and grooving. Yeah. That's it. Good night, everybody.
That was just PSA.
Yep. Jav, I think we have a good show this week.
I hope so.
Oh, I hope so too. We'll see. So, I figured we'd talk a little bit about the Nintendo Indie Direct, that just happened the other day. I want to talk a little Grand Theft Auto with you, a little on the GTA front, and I kind of want to talk a little Superman. I don't know if you're in a Superman mood this week. Yep, the Man of Steel himself, that big boy with the cape.
I'm wearing a Wonder Woman shirt right now.
That is the wrong franchise. You're going to have to take that shirt off.
All right.
Everybody, if you want to see Hop Without a Shirt, go to youtube.com/multiplayer.
I know this is what gets views, and this is how you make money on the internet, so I'll take off my shirt, I guess, and show my boobs.
Very nice. Actually, we'll get to it later on, but I swear to God, there is a Superman game with a shirtless Superman. So that's a teaser for later. In a weird way too. We'll get to it. So that's a teaser for later. A little foreshadowing. Everybody stick around for the end of the show. We'll talk about a shirtless Superman. It's ridiculous.
It's my favorite kind of Superman.
Heck yeah. But yeah, so got a lot to talk about this week. But before we get to any of that, figured just check in. How's it going?
Not
Hi.
too bad, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, man.
Nice.
Yeah, figured we'd talk about what we've been playing lately. You been playing anything good?
Yeah, so honestly, I'm still playing Overwatch a lot. But this past weekend, I rediscovered a game on my phone that I played years ago, and I saw it on the Google Play Store, and I was like, you know what? It's been a long time. I'm gonna check in on this, and it's Plants vs Zombies.
The original?
Yeah, the OG Plants vs Zombies. I got it, and man, that game still holds up really well. I don't know if you ever played it. Old PopCap game from like back in the day, but man, still super fun.
Nice. Yeah, that's a franchise that's I haven't had much experience with. Like I know of the franchise. It's just like it's one of those series that it's just it's a blank spot for me.
It's great. I mean, I only ever played the first one, and I restarted it this past weekend, and it's really easy to play. And it's basically you just have zombies trying to get to your house, and you're just fighting them with different plants that like they shoot different stuff. You can play like there are different levels where it's during the day or during the night. There's a pool area where you have to have like water plants, and you have lily pads where you put your plants on top of them so you can shoot the zombies as they walk towards you. But it's really fun. It's a very easy game to pick up and play for like 10-20 minutes if you're on the toilet or something. Like it's
is
really
it like
fun
is the original like a tower defense type game?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
because I know there's like Garden Warfare, which is more like I think that's like a third person like shooter type game, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure. Like I said, I only ever played the first one, but the first one is very much like this is your side, and the zombies are on this side, and you have to stop them from getting to you.
Gotcha.
That's all it is. And you have like you're basically on a giant grid, even though there's no lines, but it's a grid where you place all your plants and strategically place everything so that you can defend yourself from the zombies. And like as you progress, there are different types of zombies that have different abilities. But it's really fun. It's great. It's free to play. I paid like if you have Google Play Store, it's really great because you can do this thing called Google Surveys where they pay you to take surveys. So I have like $15 of Google money banked. So like I just spent the extra $2 to make it ad free.
Nice.
And it's great.
Cool. That's yeah, I mean that's great. I mean I've actually been thinking about playing some mobile games lately because I ended up with like a 3-month free subscription to the Apple Arcade.
I hear that's really good.
Yeah, I have too. It's something I'm not much of like a mobile gamer. It's one of those things. It's the same problem I have with PC gaming, where it's like I work on my phone and my computer all day,
right.
And when I'm playing on those devices, I just feel like I'm working still.
Yeah, no, I totally understand.
Yeah, so it's one of those things I haven't really given it a chance. But I have a couple free months of that Apple Arcade, so I really should try it out.
Yeah,
try
absolutely.
out a few games. I've heard there's some good stuff on there. There's even like a brand new Castlevania game coming to it.
What?
Yeah, it's like an Apple Arcade exclusive.
I didn't hear about that. That's awesome.
Yeah, look it up. I thought about putting it on the run a show this week, and I was like,
Konami, like
yeah, Konami.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's actually, if I'm not mistaken, it's a game that was previously built but never released globally. So I don't know. You'd have to look it up. It's called something.
Castlevania Apples of the Arcade or something.
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like that. Yeah, I can't remember what the heck it's called.
Hey, if you have a chance to play please do, because it'd be nice to talk about Castlevania again.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to find it right now. Grimoire of Souls is the name of it. So yeah, that's the thing. It's coming soon to Apple Arcade.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a previously canceled Castlevania game.
Oh, you should definitely try it then.
Yeah, so hopefully it comes out while I still have that free subscription.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, the only reason I played Plants vs Zombies was because I recently tweaked my knee, so it's kind of this past weekend I was just icing it and just sitting on my couch, and I was like, well, I can't move, so let's see what games there are on the Google store real quick, and I saw that one pop up.
Nice. So I figured I'd get my first update for my Xbox Series X.
Oh,
woo! Figured, I'm just gonna start a thing every week. I talk a little trash about Xbox. No, I'm just kidding. Not always trash. No, So if you weren't around last week, I ended up getting an Xbox Series X because I'm pretty darn excited about the future of that console and the Microsoft, the Xbox brand as a whole. Less excited for Microsoft as a whole. I'm an Apple boy, but don't you make faces at me. But so I've been having I got Game Pass and I've been I downloaded a bunch of games, but I decided to start with the Halo franchise, and this is it's a franchise that I've actually played a decent amount of it over the years with friends and whatnot, but to be quite honest, I've played through a few of the campaigns, but I've felt that every campaign is so forgettable that I literally can't remember which ones I've played. I think I played, it was either 2 or 3, very little of one, but I played through either 2 or 3, and then Halo Reach, and I might have played some of one other, like ODST or something, but they literally all blend together in my head.
The one with Master Chief, right?
The one with Master Chief.
Yeah.
But so it's a series, and I'm like, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna play this series, and I'm gonna finally get to the bottom of what all the fuss is about. At least, that's what I would like to do.
Sure.
So I've been playing through the first Halo, and I'm kind of coming at it with fresh eyes. Because like I said, I played a lot of the original Halo multiplayer with friends, and I probably played a bit of the campaign, but I just don't remember too much after the first half of the game, and
right.
And then like I said, kind of the rest of the series, I played a little bit, but. So I've been playing through the originals campaign, and oh boy, that's a boring game.
Whoa!
Yeah, I know it's funny. I've been playing through that game, and the first half of the game, which like I said, I kind of remembered playing a bit of back in the day. I remember kind of landing on Halo for the first time and kind of being in the open world, and I gotta say, back in the day, I remember that game being so impressive.
Sure,
it was stunning. When it first came out, I was like, man, this is the future of gaming. I remember thinking that. I remember seeing the trailers. I remember playing the multiplayer with friends, and I was like,
sure,
man, this is this is some good stuff. This is kind of the future, but the game never grabbed me at the time the way it kind of hooked some people. I was having so much more fun kind of playing other games at the time. It just it just wasn't something that was selling me on the Xbox. I was like, yeah, this is fine, but
right,
even to that day, I was like, I would much rather play GoldenEye from a console before multiplayer. I thought that game was hilarious.
It was.
And of course there was a bunch of I was kind of a GameCube kid at the time, and so I was playing a lot of Time Splitters at the time, and I loved the story in 2 and 3 Time Splitters, and then I was playing a bit of what's it called some of the GoldenEye games, or excuse me, not GoldenEye. Some of the James Bond games at the time that EA was making, like Nightfire and what was the other one? Agent Under Fire, but Nightfire was like a lot of fun. I really enjoyed playing the multiplayer in that game. So yeah, I was just playing other stuff. But yeah, man, Halo 1, first half of the game is like, all right, this is fine. Like I guess at the time I can understand why people were digging it. Then you get into the second half of the game and it's like, oh my goodness, can I please just finish this game? Like it's like such a slog.
Are you playing it like without like a guide or anything? Like you just
Yeah. Yeah, so first off, so I'm playing the Halo collector's or the Master Chief collection, and so basically you can play with the original graphics or like the updated graphics. And the updated graphics, it's a very pretty looking game, but I actually found myself getting pretty lost with the updated graphics. It was just like I don't know where to go. Oh. There's really no there's nothing pointing you in a direction, and your objectives are kind of broad as far as like it's like uncover the truth about the flood. And it's just like, all right, that doesn't really help me
stop the bad guy.
Yeah, so it's like it doesn't really help me, figure out like where I need to go. So a lot of times I got kind of lost for a little bit. But then I switched to the original game's graphics, and just the more simplistic nature of the graphics made it a little easier to kind of figure out where I needed to walk to next.
That's interesting.
Obviously it's like when the game was originally designed, even though there's no like arrow kind of pointing you in the right direction, I think, the game was designed with these like certain graphics in mind, where it's just like, you'll figure out where you need to go. But I feel like with the upgraded visuals, there's just a lot more junk. It's just like, there's like more trees, there's like snow blowing around, there's like things, a lot of like big bright pillars and all sorts of nonsense. That's like, it just kind of like distracts you from figuring out like where the heck you need to go. And so I just went back to the simplistic graphics. I also felt like it's almost like disjointed in my brain, because it's like I feel like with the updated visuals, it doesn't fit. Like the kind of what's the word I want to use here? Just like the older style of gameplay, it's like the fact that you have no compass system or like a pointer for where you need to go.
It's like
the game's just
version.
It's like the game's like crazy slow. Like I feel like you walk so damn slow in that game. And there's just things that's like it feels like it doesn't fit together with the new graphics. So when I play it with the original graphics, it's like, oh, okay, this is an older game. Makes sense. Like I can kind of like, it feels right playing it with the older graphics. So actually, and honestly, I kind of dig the older visuals a lot. I don't know. It's a lot more plain looking, but I don't know. As somebody, I don't know. As somebody that enjoys a good retro game, and it's sad to say, Halo is retro at this point.
Weird.
I know.
Weird hearing you say that.
It's an old game now. That came out 2001. That's a 20-year-old game.
Was it really 2001?
Yeah, I mean it came out with the original Xbox, so that would have been 2001. God.
That's nuts.
Crazy, right?
Oh God, I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, so I mean, there's like 18-year-olds that are like, Halo was the first game I played. It's like, Christ.
Gosh. I'm sorry.
but yeah, so anyways, kind of long story short, it's just man,
it's not good.
It's not gelling with me. I'm gonna keep trucking along. I'm gonna finish it. I think I'm right at the end of the game. Thank goodness. And then I'm gonna move on to 2 and see if it gets any better.
I heard 2 is really good.
Some people say 2 is the best in the series, so we'll see. I mean, it's just, man, it's brutal. I feel like I'm just walking so slow, and there's a part in the game, like so there's an enemy that you come into you basically have to start fighting these people called the Flood, these enemies, and man, once you start playing the Flood in the second, or fighting the Flood in the second half of the game, man, it feels like a never-ending horde mode, and it's just like, God, can I please just be done with this? It gets
let
so
this be over with.
Seriously, I probably killed like 1,000 enemies, and I'm like, please let me get past this. This is awful.
Jeez.
It's so boring. Well, I'm sorry, Halo fan. Look, everybody's entitled to their opinion. If you love Halo, you love Halo. Like, more power to you. It's not for me, I guess. Yeah, everybody is entitled to their opinion. Don't come at me.
Think of it this way. Most video game sequels are, most of the time, a lot better than the first.
Sure.
So, maybe once you get to Halo 2, you'll be like, all right, I get it.
Yeah. I hope it clicks with me. Like I said, I mean, I like the multiplayer, and I think that's a totally different aspect. I'm just kind of coming at it from the story aspect, and this actually gets me interested to go back and play some of the old other FPSs that I really enjoyed at the time. Like I would love to play through Time Splitters again to see if it holds up. It's I loved that game those games back in the day. Same thing with I would love to play through Metroid Prime again, the original, to see if that holds up. I have it on the Wii U, but I'm kind of waiting on an HD version to come out for hopefully the Switch one day. We'll see. A while. I know. But anyway, so I just wanted to kind of give you the update on my Xbox experiences. Hopefully things get better.
Video game sequels, they're typically better, so
yeah,
fingers crossed.
Oh yeah. So I want to kind of jump to the Nintendo Indie Direct that happened this past week and chat about that a little bit.
Nice.
So Nintendo had a little Indie Direct. Once again, I hate kind of beating this drum, but man, Nintendo just knows how to make a Direct. Yeah, it's like the little ID at Xbox event last week. While it had some really great games, man, I hate the way they produce those videos. It's I don't need an hour long, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour long Twitch event. Literally the Nintendo Indie event was 22 minutes, I think.
Yeah, I think it's about 22, 23 minutes. It's it's edited down. It's cut well. It's concise. It's really nice.
100%. And it's you get to talk to some of the people making the game, some of the developers. They have little moments with them, which is always great. And they just showed off some interesting games. So I figured we'd just rattle off a few that we are excited about. You have one you want to kick us off with?
I mean, the very first game they showed, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk.
Cyberfunk.
Oh, Cyberfunk. Sorry, Cyberfunk.
Oh yeah.
I watched it and I was like, man, that looks like another team that could make a good Sonic game if they wanted to.
Oh yeah.
Because that game's all about it's kind of free runny. You're grinding on rails with your sneakers for some reason. That's a thing.
Just like a Sonic.
Just like Sonic, yeah. I mean, it's basically they're just missing a hedgehog, and they could make that a Sonic game. But it looked cool. I like the art style. It reminiscent about that cell shaded style.
Yeah, it's actually Without Forgiveness is basically Jet Set Radio.
Yeah,
and that was obviously made by Sega, but I want to say part of Sonic Team worked on Jet Set Radio. You might want to triple check me on that one, but
probably.
That's definitely a game. It's part kind of Sonic Adventure, part Tony Hawk Pro Skater, with a vibe of something Crazy Taxi.
Yep. Sonic Team worked on it.
Oh yeah, there you go. Great.
Jet Set Radio.
See, this is you ask me important information in life, I don't know it, but for some reason I know nonsense like that. Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's kind of like a Sega or a Sonic game because it's you have Sonic Team working on these people jumping around an open world, grinding on rails and trying to be radical people.
Yeah, it's a lot of attitude. It's about graffiti, which is great. I mean,
Yeah.
it looked like fun, and plus, like, that open world, free running kind of style. If it's done well, it can be really fun because it just you feel graceful, you feel like super like athletic and acrobatic, which is always really fun if pulled off well in the game. So
For sure.
that one looked really cool.
Yeah, and I've always been a fan of like the Tony Hawk series, and really just like racking up combos and just at the time I really liked the game Tony Hawk Underground, and you're like kind of in a city, kind of grinding around, just doing tricks and stuff, and so I kind of miss these types of games. I'd love to give this one a shot. Especially if it comes to Game Pass. Now that I have that.
It's an indie direct.
Oh, snap, sorry. But yeah, I think it's like a timed exclusive for the Switch. So
yeah, quite a few of those were like console timed exclusive.
Yeah. Yeah. So good on Nintendo for, trying to just hone in on some of these indies and really put a spotlight on them and make them timed exclusives, which I'm sure these indie devs enjoy having a nice extra paycheck on top, from Nintendo for having timed exclusives. So one I wanted to kind of highlight on here that I think looks like a lot of fun is Toem, a photo adventure.
Oh yeah.
That game looks great, and on top of that, I gotta say I feel like we've had such a comeback for games that are just photo based, like Pokemon Snap type games. I feel like there's just been a lot lately. A lot of those kind of just photo adventure type games. So obviously this isn't like a rail shooter like Pokemon Snap, but I really like the art style of it.
It was really cute.
Yeah, kind of, it's got this little 3D world that's black and white, and it just looks like a lot of fun to just kind of wander around and like help people out and take pictures. Looks like a chill time. Looks like something, I would love to play on the Switch, like on a plane.
Oh yeah.
And just chilling out, taking pictures of
cats on like a tree or something. I think it was, or like a wire or something. What are you doing up there?
Yeah, looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, you know what else looked like fun?
What's that?
Boyfriend Dungeon.
Oh yeah, that
looks so funny and a good time.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you've been kind of keeping up with that game. It just released on other consoles. So yeah, so it's been getting some like decent reviews, and there's people that really like the game, and it's something that I like a really good dating sim. As weird as that sounds, like I just think those games are always so hilarious. Like the last one I played was I think it's called Hatful Boyfriend, which is a dating game.
The pigeon one?
Yeah, the pigeon one where you're dating pigeons. And I thought that game was hilarious. I love dating pigeons.
No, dating sims can be super fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a minute since I've played one now, but that Hatful Boyfriend one I played a few years ago. So that this looks like one that would be pretty fun. It's like a dungeon crawler / dating sim.
That's the part that interested me the most. Like, oh, it's a dungeon crawler as well. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous concept, which is like right up my alley. So that's the one I'd love to give that one a shot. It looks pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, what else did I have on my list here? Obviously, I've always been a big Shovel Knight guy, so Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, honestly, it looks like a mobile game.
It really does. Like when I look at that, I'm like, that seems like something that's coming to Apple Arcade eventually.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
because it seems like the Jeweled type of game.
Yeah,
but with Shovel Knight.
For sure. Yeah, so it's one of those games that I to be quite honest, I wish that it was Shovel Knight 2, but
yeah,
I'll take a Pocket Dungeon, I guess.
I mean, they just keep expanding on just Shovel Knight.
I know.
It just makes me wonder if they even have plans for like a Shovel Knight 2. It's like, nah, let's just keep doing other things with Shovel Knight.
I know. I mean, if they're making money, I guess, why not? But yeah, give me Shovel Knight 2 already.
Yeah, I feel you. It'd be really nice.
I love that game.
Oh yeah, it's so good. I like that one. I was super happy that Gang Beasts is coming to Switch.
Oh yeah,
I think that's a
perfect
so
ridiculous
game. Perfect game for the Switch. Like it makes me wonder why it wasn't on there sooner. But that's a super fun game. We played it before. It's hilarious. It's super funny. You're just these weird people made of like putty. You're just beating the crap out of each other.
Oh yeah,
throwing each other off buildings. It's really fun. I'm very happy about that coming to Switch, and the game Slime Rancher. I've heard about that game before, and I never played it, but I always thought, like, the little I've seen of it in the past, I always thought it looked really fun. Like it looks super simple, but like, I don't know, it's visually appealing, and it just seems like really fun. It's such a simple concept, but like a lot that you can do in that game. Which is just like, you got this gun, and you're just picking up these little slime things, and you can do different stuff with it. It just looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. I got two more on my side. First one is Metal Slug Tactics, which, I don't know if you're a Metal Slug guy, but, this game looks rad. Obviously a little different than other Metal Slug games. It's not like a side-scrolling kind of shoot 'em up style. It's it's a tactics game, like RPG. But man, .emu, I swear those guys are freaking rad. It's the guys that did Streets of Rage 4, and they're doing the new Ninja Turtles game, and like they just like understand these games and like know how to do right by them. Like the art style looks perfect. And everything is looking great. I mean, it looks fantastic. I'm so excited for when this game comes out.
Yeah, the pixel art I love, which makes me kind of like, it made me think about when I saw Axiom Verge 2. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, that looks really great. Man, I wish they would update this art style, because like I feel like this game deserves to look better than it does, because visually it just doesn't look nice, And I'm not saying the game doesn't look good. I'm just saying visually, it's just like, ugh, come on, you can do so much better with these pixel graphics.
Yeah.
And then I saw Metal Slug Tactics, and like, that looks gorgeous. Like, that's the kind of like pixel art style that you love, and it's like, man, it's so detailed and so beautiful. Because like when pixel art style is done correctly, it is just chef's kiss. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, 100%. And then the last one, I would say Tetris Effect, but that's also on other platforms. And I mean, Tetris Effect is such a cool game. But yeah, and I'm glad it's come to the platform, but I'll just kind of leave that one at that. The last one I wanted to kind of mention was Eastward.
Yeah,
this game,
that was mine too.
Yeah, this game, it looks like what I wish Nintendo would do with a new Earthbound game.
Yeah,
it's as far as like the art style and some of the it's got these like kind of interesting looking cutscenes. And it's like this 2D with like kind of 3D elements to it. It just it's exactly what I want from an Earthbound game. And obviously, I don't think this is an RPG whatsoever. But just visually, it looks great. It looks like they put a lot of love into the style of game, and so I'm excited to kind of check that out whenever it's coming to us.
Yeah, agreed. That was the last one I had. I think that was the last one they had in the show as well. Yeah, no, it looks great. I mean, it was super fast. Like that trailer they showed was like so many quick things happening, but I really liked it. I love the look of it, and you nailed it, because that was my first thought as well. I was like, man, this reminds me of Earthbound, like just the Mother series in general. But yeah, I think that one comes out in a year. I think it's at 2022.
Yeah, so looking forward to kind of seeing. Yeah, looking forward to seeing more from that game as we get a little closer. But the trailer had me excited.
Yeah, for sure. I thought it looked great.
Speaking of which, something else that has me excited is the potential remake or remaster, I should say, of GTA 3, GTA Vice City, and GTA San Andreas. We might be getting remasters of these games.
It's so funny that you say that, because it just makes me think of like, they just don't need to make a new GTA game. They just don't.
I mean, you could never release another GTA game, and GTA 5 will top the charts every single month.
Yeah, basically.
Forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it'll become like a newborn child's first gift. It's like, here's your here's your gift to the world, my friend, GTA 5.
But the year is 2132.
We still don't need a new GTA game. GTA 5 is still the top of the charts, best-selling game.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, they really don't need to make a new game, and they definitely don't need to rush a new game. I mean, it'll come out in 20 years probably.
Yeah, like if I'm sure they're developing it and they're taking their sweet ass time because they're just like, there's really no need for us to rush this out at all.
Yeah, 100%. They can just keep hanging their hat on GTA 5.
Yep.
But I got to say, they've done a lot with GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas over the years. Obviously, all three of those games came out for the PS2 back in the day, and there was a bunch of like Vice City stories and stuff like that started coming out for like PSP. I think that was PSP. There was a bunch of ports for these games to PSP and Vita. Mm-hmm. There's been, all sorts of, good stuff that kind of came from, either some sort of like port of these games or some sort of like offspring from these games. So it's like, they've had like a pretty long life already. So, they're just going to triple or quadruple dip or whatever, and
might as well.
Might as well. I think these games will come out, especially now. Now that it's been, let me double check. I think GTA 3 came out in 2000, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's nuts. Well, yeah, GTA 5 was like 2012, right?
2013, I believe.
2013.
Yeah. So GTA 3 came out October 22nd, 2001.
Okay.
And then Vice City came out 2002 apparently, which is kind of crazy. Followed by San Andreas in 2004. I didn't realize Vice City was so soon after. That's
they were all pretty much back to back to back.
Yeah, pretty much. But man, I don't know about you. I don't know. Oh man, almost a year after, October 27th, 2002 is when Vice City came out. Kind of wild.
That's nuts.
But yeah, I don't know what you were up to back in 2001, but I remember going to a friend's house and seeing GTA 3 for the first time on his PS2, and I was kind of blown away. This is, I like at the time I was rocking the N64 still. Actually, you know what? Let's see here. When did the GTA 3? So that came out 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah. When did I get my GameCube? I got it on release.
That was 2001, I believe, right?
So that came out September 14th, 2001. Okay, so it was right around the same time. So I guess I had a GameCube, which means I was playing like Luigi's Mansion and Wave Race and stuff. But I specifically remember going to my friend's house and seeing GTA 3 for the first time, and I was like floored. Like I was like, this is the future. I guess I kind of said that for the Halo as well, but I really felt that way about GTA 3. There was like no other game like that game. I mean,
sure.
Yeah, I mean, nothing like that. I mean, you're stealing cars, you're like beating up hookers. The fact that you could go pick up a hooker, take her to an alley or something, you see the car kind of rock a little bit, and then the hooker gets out. And then you could get out, beat her up, and take your money back, and then get in your car and drive away.
Yeah.
It felt like the possibilities in that game were endless, where it's just like you could literally do anything.
That's what I like. My history of GTA is not as in depth, but I remember playing San Andreas a lot with my cousins because they had it. Because my cousins had PS2 and I had a GameCube. I was like the only one with a GameCube.
Good man.
But when we played, what was that?
I said good man.
Oh yeah, I mean I had to. But yeah, well, like whenever we'd all hang out together and we'd play San Andreas, like I just remember watching them play, or when it was my turn playing, it's like, hold on, you could tell me like you could just have cheat codes and just have any weapon you want, and then you can drive around, you can get out your car, you can steal someone else's car, you can pick up hookers, pay them, take your money back. It's like I remember all of that in one night, and I was like, what can't you do in here? Like, it just seems like anything is possible. Like, especially with all these weapons, you just run around, just blow things up, steal anything you want, and like abduct people if you want. Like, it's nuts. Like, I remembered, and like I also remember going to like the gym, and you could just make yourself really fat or really in shape if you want, and like you could also like change your hairstyle and everything. I was like, oh my god, the customizability. I don't know if that's a word, but I just remember thinking that, like, oh man, you could do so much customizing. It's awesome. Like, I loved it. And I mean, to this day, I still love it. So like, if they were to do an HD remake for me, for San Andreas at least, that's like an insta buy for me. Like, I would automatically get that game.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way about Vice City. That was the one I really gravitated towards, and I just love the kind of Miami style location that game took place in. You know, obviously, you know, it's in the 1980s, so it's like, you know, the music is amazing. You know, the clothes are fantastic. You know, the types of cars you're driving around in are awesome. It's just like such a great era to kind of set a video game where you just run around killing people.
Also, like, if I'm not mistaken, I also really like the artwork on the game cover of Vice City.
Oh yeah,
I thought that one was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the style of that game in general. It's just fantastic. You know, I would love to see kind of a remaster of that game, and to this day, I wish they would just do a full on like either a Vice City 2 or like a complete overhaul, like from the ground up remake of that game. Either one or the other, where it's just like I want to see that era explored more within Grand Theft Auto. It's like, you know, imagine it with a world the size of GTA 5, you know.
Oh yeah.
And man, that'd be fantastic. It's just like such a fun era for, you know, drugs and crime and all that kind of stuff, you know, and just you know, people walking around these like, you know, ridiculous suits, and you know, it's
hot
just
pink suits or white suits with hot pink shirts.
You know, just coked out of your mind using a cell phone the size of like 4 bricks. You know, it's just,
you know, Rockstar will get to it once they're done like counting all the cash they make off of GTA 5. Like, it's nuts.
About 10 years from now, they're going to be, you know, GTA, or no, Rockstar is just like sitting in a room, you know, some of the heads like, hey, should we like start making the next game? Oh yeah, okay. I guess we could do that.
All the other guys are just having like cash, and they're just counting it. And they're like, huh, I guess we should do that.
Oh yeah, it reminds me of like, you know, like old timey stockbroker guys, like, you know, turn of the century, like 1900s. They're sitting there with like the ticker tape. They're like, huh, looks like I've made another $10 million.
I mean, basically they are. And that's just off game sales.
Exactly. So, I'd love to see what they can do with a full-on Vice City remake. But yeah, I'm pretty excited if you know, the remaster concept is true. I would take that. Oh yeah, I'd pick that up. But I will say, I would love a remake of GTA 2 as well. Just a full-on, like, from the ground up remake of GTA 2, I think would be a lot of fun. That was a top-down 2D style game, but I really like the it was called like the respect system, where it's just like, you know, if you're messing with a gang in their like neighborhood, like if you're doing jobs for them, you'll gain respect, but if you start just like killing people in that gang, you'll lose respect. So if you're just like driving through a part of the city and that gang doesn't like you, I mean, they'll just start like shooting at you. I mean, they will not let up. It's like, I really like the respect system from that game. I wish they would bring that back for like a new GTA game. But man, I would, at the very least, I'd love either a remake of GTA 2 or Heck, I'd love to see like a from the ground up remake in 3D of that game. That could be a lot of fun too. So I would take either or.
Yeah,
it'd be a lot of fun.
That's a lot of work though.
Yeah, I mean, it'll print money.
That's true. It's not like they don't have enough to basically fund any project they want.
I also, just quick thing I'll say about GTA 2, and shout out to my buddy Jason for this, because to this day I think GTA 2 has like one of the best demos I've ever played, and it's basically like it's like you get 5 minutes, and you can play this as many times as you want, but basically it's just like when you start, it's like, hey, you're strapped with a bomb, you have 5 minutes to live, have fun.
That's
and then
awesome.
You just have, I think it's 5 minutes. I'd have to double check the exact time, but it's like 5, maybe 10, but I think it's 5 minutes. And so you just go on a killing spree. You just like grab a car. You just like, you try and get, 5 stars on the cops as quick as you can.
Sure.
And then you want to just make sure by the time your time's up, you just have as many cops like swarming you as possible. So you just basically explode in the street. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I wish they would bring back like if demos like that for GTA. That'd be a lot of fun.
That's a great demo idea.
Yeah, I miss that demo. I'd have to find that. I'd have to ask my buddy if how can we get that demo?
Yeah, honestly, that sounds like a lot of fun.
It was back in the day. Me and my buddy Jason and like some other friends, we just take turns, just racking up as many kills and stuff as possible. It was a good time. But yeah, I want to move on from Grand Theft Auto and talk a little bit about kind of the exact opposite, which is Superman.
Oh man, what are you talking about? They go hand in hand.
Well, I mean, Superman, I guess he doesn't kill people, and he doesn't need to steal
stop
cars.
All the crime, right?
Yeah. All right, new game idea: GTA versus Superman. You just have this guy putting in cheat codes, dropping tanks from the sky, and Superman's like, "Yo, get that out of here!" You're just swatting it away. The cops are coming for you. No, just put in another cheat code. No more cops. Like, dang, this guy's good. I'd play a game. But yeah, I want to talk a little bit about Superman. A few weeks ago, there was like an unreleased footage from an unreleased Superman game that kind of hit the interwebs, called Blue Steel. It was codenamed Blue Steel, made by the guys at Faction 5. And I don't want to get too much into that particular game, but it got me really thinking about just Superman games in general. Because it's like, there's been a couple okay ones, a couple like good ones, and a few really, really bad ones. So in general, I just want to talk about the history of Superman games.
That's a very interesting topic because I
thank you.
I think I've only played three Superman games by memory. I mean, because I don't count you're not counting like Injustice, right?
I am because
okay. Well, then that's the best Superman game ever made.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you there. The Injustice games I think are really, those are pretty darn good Superman games.
Good. Yeah, they're very good Superman games if we're gonna call them Superman games.
Yeah,
they're really good.
Yeah, since there's not too many good Superman games, I'm kind of throwing them in the category. So before I jump into the history of Superman games, do you have a random number you want to throw out there for all the Superman games out there, including games like Injustice, where like he's just a part of the
yeah, if you're counting that ensemble games, then I'm gonna say 15.
What if I told you that number is double?
What?
Oh yeah. Well,
Really?
it's like video games have been around a long time, and Superman's been around a long time. So
yeah, I know. I was just thinking about DC games in general. Like I couldn't think of that many.
Yep. So first game that Superman was in. This is back in 1979 for the Atari 2600.
Wow.
And it's just called Superman. And this is the game I was looking up some gameplay of some of these early games because it was a bit before my time. And this game looks real bad.
I mean, there's only so much you can do with the Superman idea on an Atari cartridge.
Yeah. So, just to give you a little backstory to this. So, the player takes control of Superman, who must repair the bridge destroyed by Lex Luthor, capture Luthor and his henchmen, enter a phone booth to turn back into Clark Kent, then return to the Daily Planet in the shortest amount of time. Now, this game is, if you go look up footage of Superman for the Atari 2600, boy, you don't get any of that. What I just said, it's like you watch that gameplay, it's like, yeah, I don't know what's happening in this. I see the phone booth, and you can like fly into this phone booth, and it looks like so you're just playing this like little blocky character with like a hat on, and then you go in the phone booth, and when you come out, it looks like he's wearing blue jeans and no shirt. So that's where the shirtless Superman comes in. It's
Nice.
just like,
That's awesome.
so it's just like he goes from Clark Kent to just like some guy in
took his shirt off.
yeah, that took his shirt off. And he's like, I'm gonna save the day now.
Guess I'll go repair that bridge.
Yeah, very weird looking game. Obviously Atari 2600 you can only do but so much, so it's just like
Yeah.
blocks doing stuff. And then in 1985, so it's a little while later, six years after that original Superman game, Superman the game comes out for the Commodore 64 and then the Atari 400 and 800. And once again, I was looking at footage from this game. I can't figure out what the heck you're doing. Like, you're basically fighting Darkseid, but it's so
Darkseid?
yeah, it's
That's
weird though.
I didn't
It's
think
like
they put Darkseid in the game.
yeah. I mean, it doesn't look like Darkseid. It's just like a gray, basically a couple gray blocks.
It's
but
gray blocks versus red and blue blocks.
yeah, it's like I don't know. I honestly can't figure out what the heck is going on.
This is just Pong, but it's colored.
Well, it's just like, it looks like a maze, not like Pac-Man, but I guess close. And you're just like, Superman's flying, and it looks like you're shooting laser beams or something, but it's like, I mean, it's honestly, it's so hard to tell what the heck you're doing in that game.
Doesn't make any damn sense.
Yeah, and then there was in 1987 you had Superman for the NES, which also doesn't look great. You're just kind of flying around, not doing too much. No, actually, I take that back. This is a different one. So Superman for the NES in 1987. I was stupid. I didn't write any notes for myself. I'm just like going off memory here.
I was looking at pictures of the Commodore 64 one, and it looks so weird.
It's I can't understand what the heck is happening in that game. But the 1987 Superman game, you should look that one up for the NES. It's like you're playing this little chibi Superman, and it just looks so stupid. It's like, why did they decide on this art style? It looks it looks so ridiculous. It's like when you think Superman, you think like this, big, strong, tall man. It's just, you're just playing this little like chibi guy, just like hopping around. Like, I don't know. It looks stupid as heck.
It looks like what's that?
It looks like Chippendale's Rescue Ranger or something. Like the way the art style is.
It also makes me think of the oh my god, this is gonna drive me nuts. It's like it's Japanese. You look like high school students.
Oh, I don't know.
Well,
no. You keep thinking of it.
I'll look it up real quick.
So then we get into some like kind of decent stuff. So Superman for the arcade came out in 1988.
River City Ransom, sorry.
Oh yeah, it looks a lot like River City Ransom. You're right. Like kind of those like kind of chubby, like chunky, kind of sprites running around. Like
definitely not as good, but
yeah. So Superman for arcade in 1988 came out, and if you look at gameplay from that game, it actually looks pretty good. It's like the first time I think Superman looks accurate to how he looks in the comics, and you're kind of you're flying around, you're like punching people, I mean, it looks pretty fun actually. I will say, like, you know, his punches look great, but like when he's kicking, it looks like he's just like kicking people in the shins. It looks so.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at pictures right now. Yeah, it does look good. I like the look of it, but yeah, you're right. The kicking, it's like he's a little kid just kind of kicking you in the shin.
Yeah. And then we just, you know, we start getting into like some kind of side scrolling games, where you're basically just like flying around, you know, you're shooting stuff, you're punching stuff. You know, you had one that came out in 1989 for the Atari and the Commodore 64. You had one for 92 for the Genesis. You had one for the Master System. And then we get to one of probably my all-time like favorite Superman game, which is the Death and Return of Superman. And that came out pretty late for the SNES and the Genesis. You know, it came out in 94. I thought maybe that was 92 or 93, but it's like, I guess that, you know, timing makes sense with the comic and whatnot. But that was like a beat 'em up, you know, based on the death of Superman. And man, you get to play as like Superboy and Steel and Cyborg, and like, man, it's rad.
Yeah.
I really, you know, like that game. I've probably played that game 20 times over the years, if not more. Like, I used to that was like a go-to like junk food game. I'd just go and pop that game in, you know, beat up some baddies. It was great. You know, you're fighting like all sorts of like fun enemies and stuff. It's great. And then, you know, you get into some other nonsense like Superman for Game Boy.
That game was terrible.
I never played that one.
I had that game. I was waiting for you to say that one because I had the Game Boy game, and I remember playing it and thinking, like, this isn't Superman at all. Like, you die so easily from guys shooting bullets at you. Just like thugs on the street. And you're like,
yeah,
I'm Superman. Like, why am I dying like in 2 shots? Like, you just die. It's
yeah.
That bothered me so much when I was a kid. I hated that.
Yeah, I feel the same way about so Superman 64 is kind of the same way. You're just like getting shot by nonsense. Like, why am I dying to like random thugs?
Why am I flying through rings?
Yeah, that was like all around just a god awful game.
Yeah, just really bad.
Oh my god, that was such a bad game. But then there's like a bunch of games that came out like I didn't realize like Superman Shadow of Apocalypse came out in 2002 for the GameCube and the PS2. That's based off the Superman animated series. I didn't look that one up. Yeah, I didn't even look that one up, but I mean, I've never even heard of that. And then Superman the Man of Steel came out for Xbox in 2002 as based off just the comic books, which I don't remember that game. And then like there was a Game Boy Advance game. There was let's see here. And I remember the Superman Returns game that came out in 2006. It was based off the movie, and that was also god awful.
Yeah.
And then let's see. And then you get into like the good stuff, like, you know, Mortal Kombat versus, you know, DC.
Well, that's not that
like, well, you know, as far as like games that Superman's in, it's pretty decent, you know. And then like DC Universe Online was like pretty interesting for its time.
That's still around.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Servers are, I mean, it is like I still have the PS3 disc of that game.
Oh, nice.
And I remember going to a GameStop one day, and they're like, we can't buy this. I'm like, why not? They're like, because it's a free game. I'm like, I paid for this.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's a free to play game, so it has no value. I'm like, fine, I guess I'll keep it. I hope it's worth money someday, because it's a nice little.
Oh yeah.
Nice little disc.
Oh yeah. Gotta say, to this day, I think one of the best video game trailers.
I agree, 100%.
Like launch trailer. Yeah,
I would watch that movie. Like if that team, whoever like 3D art team that made that trailer, if they wanted to make a movie, I'd be down for that 100%.
Yeah, I saw a trailer at, you know, whatever E3 they first announced it, and I was like, I'm so excited for this. I don't even know what this game really is yet. I'm excited.
I don't know if this is a game or a movie, but I love it.
Yeah, that was a rad trailer.
Yeah,
yeah, and then, you know, you get into like Injustice and, you know, kind of the like Lego Batman games where you can play as Superman, like all that kind of stuff. But it's Superman's had like a pretty interesting video game career. A lot of
longer history than I thought.
Yeah, well, it's one of those characters like James Bond or Indiana Jones or Batman. I guess is maybe a better example. It's similar. Where it's just like it's just been in so many games over the years because it's such a popular franchise that like when video games first came around, they're like, start making video games about this character. He's popular.
I mean, licensed characters. It's what makes money.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that people just struggle to put Superman in a game because he's just too dang powerful. He's basically godlike.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's tough to make a game for a character that's like doesn't really have a weakness.
Yeah,
and I honestly think I don't know. Like, I'm not as creative as video game developers. I'm sure there's a creative team out there that could figure it out. But like to me, it's like it's tough to make him into a video game because I think like Superman's appeal isn't about like powers and stuff. Like it's more about like some of the best Superman stories are about him being like a family man.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, yeah, so like whereas Batman, it's like Batman's like he wants to kick ass. Like that's his whole thing. Like he's like I want to make sure this doesn't happen to a little kid ever again. So he just goes out and he beats up people and he's got crazy gadgets and it's like it lends itself to an art form where you could do a lot with him where he has lots of versatility. And Superman has that, right? He's got lots of cool powers, but it's like, what's the challenge, I guess, It's like,
yeah.
Who's he going to fight?
Yeah, that's the thing, you kind of have to have some sort of struggle in a game, You
Right.
have to have things that can, like, defeat you in some way.
Yeah.
But, that's just not Superman,
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, like, you could do something, like Injustice where they're like, quick, take this little green pill. It'll make everybody like a mini Superman. It's like,
which basically they had to do.
Yeah, it's like,
well,
that's
you
the
can't
only
fight
explanation that you could have for Green Arrow to fight Superman and not die instantly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm sure you could do something like that, or like, if you make a game, maybe it could be in space and it's like under a red sun, and so he's very depowered, and you got to figure out by the end of the game you get your powers back, but you have to like, that lends itself to like a ability tree and like, unlocking Superman's abilities, and maybe by the end of the game you have everything at your disposal, and that's when you fight, Darkseid or whoever.
So here's my video game pitch. Give me a Smallville game. Give me like basically a Superman origin story where it's just like you're just figuring yourself out for the first time. You're slowly gaining your powers. But you're doing a lot of like local Smallville stuff, It's like you're going to high school, you're doing like, you're doing the dating thing maybe, like
yeah, sure.
But then it kind of ramps up into more and more crazy stuff until like you finally come into yourself and really have to like fight a baddie, like a big baddie at the end. Man, I just like I was just like reading some comment sections on that Superman Blue Steel game, a few weeks ago, and somebody just mentioned Smallville, and then that just like popped in my head. I've been thinking about it ever since. Like, it's like, man, I would love like a Superman origin story game, set in Smallville, and you have no powers to begin with, and then like you start getting like kind of strong, and maybe you end up like saving people at your high school from like a bus crash, or it's like
Sure.
You kind of start with these like smaller problems and then you ramp up into something way bigger. And man, I think that would just be so much fun. Imagine you're playing football, because like Clark Kent plays for the Smallville, I don't remember the football team, but it's like, imagine you have to play like a game of football, but you're literally like trying to make sure people that are trying to tackle you don't basically get killed when they hit you, It's
the opposite of like when Madden introduced like the truck stick, where it's just like you just level people. It's like the opposite of that.
So yeah, it's man, I would be so excited about like a Smallville game.
Yeah, I mean that's again, that's like there's two ways you can go about it, right? It's either he's young and he's got to figure out the powers, or like he somehow got depowered and he's got to get his powers back.
Yeah,
like, that's really because otherwise, if you just have your powers from the get go, it's just like, well, I don't know what you're gonna do because you just can't die and like nothing can stop. I mean, I guess whatever, you got to fight people with kryptonite or something, but like again, I always thought because he's basically God, like the most interesting stuff about Superman is when they talk about him being a family man in terms of like story ideas, right?
Yeah.
But it's tough to bring that into a game, unless you have like a Superman dad simulator. That would be fun. That would actually be kind of cool.
I'd play that.
Yeah, if there was a dad simulator, it's like there's like the Octopus dad game, and then there's like the Superman dad game. That would be pretty cool. Like if they did a dad sim of Superman, I would be down for that. So you could do anything for your son or your daughter or your family. It's like, oh, Clark, you got to tend to the farm. It's like, oh man, okay. And you just fly out and you like pick corn or whatever. And you just like, or you like mow the grass with like your laser eye, like heat vision. It's just super fast. Like that'd be super cool.
I'd play it.
Yeah.
All right, so we're basically out of time, but I wanna stump you with a round of You Nintendo Don't Know Jack.
All right.
We'll blow through these real fast here. So, if you don't know this game, we have a bunch of nonsense Mario quiz cards from 1995 with a bunch of nonsense questions on them.
About nothing about Mario.
Nothing about Mario. At least I haven't found a card that has something to do with Mario. And every week I try and stump Hav with a bunch of these silly questions. So, Hav, your first question for this week comes from the category Plants and Trees. Hav, what tree has white bark? Is it the beech tree, the peach tree, or the birch tree?
White.
Yeah, what tree has white bark? A beech tree, a peach tree, or a birch tree?
I've never even heard of a beech tree. Hey, what's a beech tree?
It's a tree on the beach.
I'm gonna say birch, like birchwood. I've heard of that.
Oh yeah. Okay, so let's see if you're right, and you are correct.
Oh,
the paper birch tree has white bark. The birch tree is easy to identify because it's silver white bark. This bark becomes black and cracked as the tree ages.
Nice.
There's actually a bunch of these in Virginia when I was growing up.
Oh, nice.
These white trees. So I thought this was kind of a fun picture on the front here. It's just like Mario, like hanging from a birch.
I like
tree.
his hat being like sideways.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. He's just like
nice.
He's being a silly boy, and then the back is literally just picture of trees.
Some trees. Nice.
All right, 1 for 1. Let's see if I can stump you with this next one. All right, this comes from the human body. Hav, how does pain travel from your skin to your brain? Is it through the blood, through the heart, or via the nerves?
Come on. Nerves. The nervous system.
And let's see if you are correct. And you are correct, of course. Pain travels via the nerves to the brain. You can feel contact, painful or otherwise, through your nerve endings and through your mucous membranes.
Gross.
And I like the front here. It starts to kind of make you sad for these Mario enemies because it shows Mario crushing an enemy to death. And it's like, oh my god, that guy's feeling pain right now. He's being crushed to death.
That's awesome. I forget what those guys were called. They were in Super Mario World.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of these little dinosaur dudes.
Yeah, little dragon dinosaur guys. But it took I think it took 2 hops because that first hop would just squish them. But then they'd still walk just squished.
Yeah. And then the back here, it's just like a very scientific picture of like a brain and a nervous system and all that.
Creepy.
All right, 2 for 2. I think I have a real stumper for you here. Hav, and this comes from geography. Hav, what country owns Greenland? Is it Denmark, Thailand, or New Zealand?
Is it not its own country?
You know, this is from 95, so who the heck knows? But in 1995, what country owned Greenland? Was it Denmark, Thailand, or New Zealand?
I'm going to say no to Thailand. And I guess Denmark would make the most sense, so Denmark.
And, of course, Hav, you are correct. Greenland belongs to Denmark. Greenland is a huge island north of the United States. It has been the property of Denmark since 1814. And, you know, I'll just say maybe they still own them. But on the front here, Mario's he's doing like a puzzle. And he has a puzzle piece of, you know, Greenland, which is ridiculous because, like, that doesn't look like a puzzle piece.
Yeah, that looks like a rock, to be honest.
Yeah, it's yeah. But, you know, it says map puzzle right there. So it's like, it's a weird puzzle piece.
I guess. That might be the center.
And then on the back here, it's just like some dude from Greenland, I guess.
Oh, look at him.
Looks like he's having a good time.
Yeah, Greenland guy.
He's like, all right, I'm owned by Denmark.
Oh, it's Rex. Rex is the...
You're right.
Yeah, there it was.
And then there's also that football guy. I can't remember his name ever.
Yeah.
I always forget his name. But anyways, that is our show, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking around for another kooky, crazy time. I think this is a good one. I always enjoy just talking about video game history and Superman and GTA and all that fun stuff. So thank you so much, everyone. Remember, you can find us on Instagram. I'm at Zach Matzganis at ZACKMATZGANIS. Hav, where can we find you?
On Instagram as well, at loverboy_Hav.
Nice. And of course, you can find Multiplayered at Go Multiplayered on Instagram, where, you know, we try and post some stuff. We'll see if we can post some more. We try. I get so damn busy. Jeez, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like I had a picture I was going to post today, and then I just got so busy with work, I just didn't end up posting it. But I'm going to try and post some more, I swear, people. And, of course, if you like what we do, you know, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Tell your friends, your cat, your grandma, everybody to check us out. You know, help us grow the show because we love doing this each and every week. And, of course, you can support us over at Patreon at patreon.com/multiplayered, where you can kick us $1 or $2 a month, and really goes, you know, to helping the show and helping us.
Yeah.
Love you.
We love you long time.
Oh, yeah. So that's our show, everybody. Thank you so much, and we will see you all next week. And, of course, remember,
we still love you, and you should love you, too.
That's right. We love you, baby. See you next week. Peace.
Bye.
We here at Multiplayered would like to give a huge special thank you to Kevin Hopkins, William Euchre, and the rest of our amazing Patreon community. If you'd like to support our podcast and get a shout out at the end of each show, be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/multiplayered. See you next time, players. We love ya!